Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Basketball Weekly. I'm Amber Wilson, and joining me, of course, is senior fantasy writer Jamey Eisenberg. And Jamey, I went to the Heat game on Friday, and much to my dismay, I missed out on seeing the Heat's biggest star play, Dwayne Wade. He sat comfortably on the bench the whole night. Not too surprising, since the Heat are completely done, to say the least, at this point. Maybe you don't want to risk your biggest star to injury. We hear today, breaking news today, Dwayne Wade out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Amber, with Pat Riley taking a sabbatical to go watch some college games, there's no reason for the Heat to play Dwayne Wade at this point anymore because he's dealing with some soreness in his knee, dealing with some soreness in his shoulder. You don't want to risk him long-term, to potentially have him out for next season. There's probably also some consideration about the Olympic team that he's going to play for this summer. So I think the safe bet for the Heat is to rest Dwayne Wade, but for fantasy owners, you're going to be missing a guy who's a very solid contributor. So obviously the advice going forward is you're going to keep Dwayne Wade reserved. In keeper leagues, you hold on to him. In seasonal leagues, you release him, but no Dwayne Wade going forward. If you're looking for guys to pick up, maybe Ricky Davis is going to have some extended fantasy value, even a guy like Marcus Banks, who was acquired in the trade for Shaquille O'Neal to get Sean Marion.
Marcus Banks was doing pretty well on Friday night.
That's right.
All right, moving on. So the Heat completely out, no shot. Cleveland, on the other hand, you always have a shot when you have LeBron James because he is just tearing it up lately.
That's right, he is, Amber. He's had 4 games now where he hasn't scored less than 37 points, but he's getting it done in all areas. He's passing the ball very well, getting guys involved like, Wally Zerbiak, Ben Wallace, and doing a good job with assists and with rebounds. So the way LeBron James is playing right now, he's carrying the Cavaliers, and he's probably carrying a lot of fantasy teams at this point. I know for one of my leagues, he's helping me out a lot. So I think as long as you have LeBron James in your active lineup, you're going to be doing very well. He's an MVP candidate, probably should be the MVP of the NBA, definitely the MVP of most fantasy leagues this year.
Another superstar carrying his team, playing spectacularly, T-Mac, just tearing it up since they lost Yao.
Yeah, that's right, Amber. He's really helped carry the Rockets in this recent stretch. He has them up to the number 3 seed in the Western Conference as of Monday. So the way Tracy McGrady is playing right now is what we've hoped to see for all season long. He's really put the team on his shoulders without Yao Ming. Now they have an injury situation with Carl Landry, so guys like Louis Scola are going to step up. Rafer Alston will be asked to do some more. Probably Shane Battier. You'll see some more three-pointers from him. But Tracy McGrady is the life force of that team, and hopefully he continues to help you in your fantasy leagues. You're definitely going to start him as number 1 option. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt because we know he has a little bit of an injury history. So they're at 18 wins in a row. It looks like with their next 3 games they could get to 21 in a row. Would not be surprising if that happens, and they do finish as possibly the number 3 or 4 seed in the Western Conference.
Pretty incredible to be able to do that without Yao. All right, so T-Mac's been coming on as of late. A couple guards getting it done all season long. Chris Paul and Darren Williams. These guys definitely in the MVP conversation.
Absolutely. Chris Paul is really getting touted as an MVP candidate because he's gotten the Hornets to the number 4 seed in the Western Conference, really put that team on his shoulders. People are comparing him to Isaiah Thomas. Probably a little bit early to make that comparison, but Paul is a scorer. He's a rebounder. He gets a ton of assists and really carrying the Hornets, who are now missing David West. So that's should be an added boost for Paul in terms of some scoring. But they're getting great play from guys like Tyson Chandler and Peja Stojakovic. So really great season for the Hornets, and it's all because of Chris Paul. Darren Williams has really stepped up recently. Following the trade to get Kyle Korver, he's really stepped up his game because he hasn't had to shoot so much. He's really been able to be back to a distributor, getting into the lane, getting to the foul line a little bit more. Had a 2-game stretch where he had 39 assists. You see what he's done in his last 7 games. So the big reason why Utah has really turned things around is because of the play of Darren Williams, and he should be mentioned in the MVP candidacy as well. Probably not going to finish in the top 5 just because of his team and the way that the other guys have played, but still a great season for Darren Williams as well.
All right, so some young guys coming into their own. An old guy who seems rejuvenated, at least as of this weekend, Shaq.
Now, Amber, if you're sitting in the stands and Shaq comes diving at you the way he did against the Spurs, what are you going to do?
Cry, probably, yes.
Yeah, he avoided 2 little kids in the seats there, but he did a good job of jumping over and, only, I guess, busting one of the fans' lips. So very good that he didn't hurt a lot of people, but he's helping fantasy users, which is the nice thing to see because disappointing year for Shaq, probably contributed to definitely contributed to what happened to the Heat this season, but now the fact that he's playing well for Phoenix, averaging a double-double since he's come along there, had huge game against the Spurs. When you're seeing his rebound total up, because he's going to get you around 10, 12 points, scoring's going to be down with the Suns, but the fact that he's putting up big rebounds, getting me blocks, playing 30-plus minutes, which is a nice thing to see. So they're 4-6 since they've gotten Shaq with the Suns, so hopefully they got a nice 3-game stretch this week. You should see them go to 7-6 with Shaq in the lineup, and I think Shaq is really finally starting to help fantasy owners, as he normally does at this time of year.
Of course, if you got your lip busted up by Shaq, that would be a great story to tell.
It would be.
So it wouldn't be so bad, I suppose. All right. Moving on, injuries.
Your favorite topic.
Huge list. But let's concentrate on Chris Bosh, who's out with his knee, and Gerald Wallace, who's out with a concussion.
Yeah, Wallace is the good news is he's going to practice Monday and Tuesday and hopefully get back in the lineup Wednesday. So the guys that should be affected are Jason Richardson and Matt Carroll. So keep an eye on what happens with Wallace. The safe bet, again, is to keep him reserved this week because Wednesday, if he does play, I think he'll only have 2 games following that. So I think the safe bet, let Wallace get back in the lineup, see what happens with some of the other Bobcats. And then when it comes to Chris Bosh, probably going to be out another week. You know, he's dealing with the knee injury. Doesn't look like he's going to return anytime soon. So the safe bet, again, keep him reserved, and hopefully he comes back on the court. Zadrunas Ilgauskas, another guy, could be out for a week. And as we mentioned, David West still dealing with an ankle injury. So some of the bigger name guys there you want to keep an eye on.
All right, keep all of that in mind. Thanks, Jamie, for joining us again today. That'll do it for us for now. Keep your mouths right here at CBSSports.com for everything you need to know in the world of sports. And if you missed anything here today, stop, refresh, and rewatch. For Jamey Eisenberg, I'm Amber Wilson. Have a great, fantastic, wonderful week.